Portland Trailblazers have been eliminated by Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs in the first round of the playoffs. And honestly, them even making the playoffs is a huge achievement from the struggling team they've been the last few seasons. But with the rise of young players like Deni Avdija, the future is bright, which is why in today's video I'm rebuilding the Trailblazers and hopefully winning them a championship. And now let's simulate past the playoffs and see which team goes on to win the championship. And in the NBA Finals, we have Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs taking on Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. And it looks like the New York Knicks going to win in Game 5, with Jalen Brunson winning Finals MVP, averaging 29 points per game on 60, 50, 78 shooting splits. And in the 2026 draft lottery, we don't end up with a single first round pick, which does kind of suck, but it is what it is. I do see the Clippers have the first overall pick, but that is top 4 protected, so I will be sending that back to the Indiana Pacers. I did realize I forgot to do so in the last video, so this time I'm going to make sure I do that right now. So I did fire our head coach Chauncey Billups since he is no longer in the NBA, and now we sign Frank Vogel to be the brand new head coach. Vogel was the assistant head coach for, I believe, the Dallas Mavericks, and for some reason they had the ability to block that signing, even though in real life a team is not allowed to do that. So I had to force his way over here, and now we're paying him $37 million over the next 4 years. Before we continue in this offseason, it would mean the world to me if y'all could drop a thumbs up on this video, and don't forget to subscribe. We're about 70 subscribers away from that 1,000 subscriber goal, so please make sure you smash that subscribe button and also hype the video. It's absolutely free and helps the channel a ton. We do have ourselves an early second round pick in the 26th draft, so let's see which player we're going to be able to draft. The Indiana Pacers have the first overall pick and they take Cameron Boozer. The Atlanta Hawks have the second overall pick, they take Darren Peterson, and the Brooklyn Nets have the third overall pick and they take AJ DeBonsa. And now let's go to our pick and see what we could get. We do have 10 trade offers, but it looks like it's all for second round picks. Is there any good player here we could draft? We could draft ourselves Braden Burris, who if I'm not mistaken is a pretty good 3-point shooter. He does have an all NBA ceiling. With our second round pick, we're going to go ahead and draft Braden Burris, and if I'm not mistaken, I have seen him progress pretty well in other people's 2K simulation videos, so let's go ahead and draft him here with a 36th overall pick, and that's the only pick we have in the 26th draft. For team player options, of course, we are going to pick up the team option on Donovan Clingan, Scoot Henderson, but we don't really need these two players here, City or Chris Murray, so we're going to let them walk. Qualifying offers, do we need to re-sign anybody? And it looks like we don't have to re-sign anybody here. I will go ahead and give Caleb Love the qualifying offer, and let me just double check. So it looks like, yeah, we don't, okay, never mind. We do need to re-sign ourselves Robert Williams III, who I would like to have be our backup center. We do have enough money to sign ourselves a player like Peyton Watson or Isaiah Hartenstein, and I think I'm going to try and go after Peyton Watson. The reason for that is there's times Tamani Kamara does not play well in 2K simulation, and if that happens, we could start Peyton Watson at that power forward position. So I'm going to go ahead and offer him a 4-year deal where we pay him about $13 million annually. And if we do that, I don't think we're going to be able to re-sign Robert Williams III, but that's alright because we should be able to get somebody on a minimum here. But now let's focus on signing Peyton Watson. It looks like he will be accepting on a 4-year $55 million contract. Hopefully the Nuggets do not match, and it looks like they do not match, and we land ourselves Peyton Watson. Let's go. And even after signing Peyton Watson, we still have enough money for Robert Williams III, who does currently have one offer from the Los Angeles Lakers. They're offering him a 3-year, $13 million contract. We'll offer him a 4-year contract, paying him about $5 million annually, and let's see if he accepts. Yes, he will, on a 4-year, $21 million contract. I was taking a look at our team's roster, so Damian Lillard has returned from his injury. He's an 88 overall, age 36. Sure, he's probably going to start regressing, but that's alright because I do want him to remain on our team. Whether that's him in that 6-man role, he could provide us with scoring off the bench unit. 3 players we could possibly trade is Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, and Jeremy Grant, and maybe even go get ourselves a superstar player with their large contracts. I've decided to throw Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, and 2 first-round picks in Trade Finder, and the Hornets are offering us Conppel and Miles Bridges. We could run Conppel at that shooting guard position, and with his 3-point shooting, that definitely will help our offense a ton. I have been trying to trade Sharpe, Grant, and Drew Holiday for quite some time now, but I was not able to get ourselves a superstar player, so we're going to settle for this trade, bringing in Conppel. Trading away Drew Holiday's $34 million contract has been a lot more difficult than I had thought, so we are going to keep him on this team for now, but what we will do is change his position from point guard to shooting guard, secondary position small forward, and now he'll be coming off the bench unit behind Conppel. We are ready for this season with the new and upgraded 9-man rotation. So in the starting lineup, we currently have ourselves Damian Lillard, Conppel, Deni Avdija, Toumani Camara, and Donovan Clingan. And then off the bench, we have Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Peyton Watson, and Robert Williams III. And our rotation is absolutely stacked. Every player is an 80 overall or higher, and I have decided we will be running Lillard at the starting point guard position over Scoot Henderson for now. Lillard is an higher overall, plus he's a better offensive player as well. And now let's simulate the first few games of this season to see how we do. The first game is up against the Timberwolves, who we defeat 121 to 116. Watson leading the way here with 21, Avdija with 28 and 12, Clingan with a 16-point double-double, Lillard had himself 11. Can we also go on to defeat the Golden State Warriors, the second game of this season, which we do 133 to 98. Lillard with 30, Deni Avdija with a 28-point triple-double and 19 from Drew Holiday. Let's see if we could also defeat the Hornets, which we do, scoring 144 points, where Lillard had 33, 25 from Camara, and 24 from Avdija. And we will be rolling with a 4-star overall system proficiency balanced under Frank Vogel. I'm now going to start simulating here until the end of this season, but if there are any trades to be made, I will stop at the trade deadline to show you all. We are stopped here at the trade deadline, and as much as I did want to pull off some trades, we are the number 1 seed with 40 wins and 12 losses, so it would not make sense for us to make any changes to this core, which means I'll see you all at the end of this season. A few players do want to sign a contract extension. I completely forgot we even have Miles Bridges and his $22 million on our books, but I am going to extend him and pay him a little bit of extra money just so we could use his contract to trade this coming off season. You know what, we're going to go ahead and extend Drew Holiday as well. Instead of having him on a $34 million contract, which I don't think any team will want, I do believe a $15 million contract for him at this level is a little bit more realistic, plus we signed him for the next 2 seasons. Again, we may be trading him this off season. At the end of this season, Victor Wembanyama goes on to win his first ever MVP, Darren Peterson Rookie of the Year, Kevin Porter 6-man, Wemby also winning Defensive Player and Most Improved Player, Cade Cunningham Clutch Player, Coach of the Year goes to Mitch Johnson, and the Spurs also go on to win Executive of the Year. Now let's see if we get ourselves any All-NBA selections. We do land Deni Avdija on an All-NBA second team, and he was in the award races to winning MVP. Hopefully we are able to win him an MVP this video. That would be phenomenal. We do not get any more awards, but we ended this season as the number 2 seed, winning a total of 66 games and losing only 16. The only team ahead of us here in the regular season was the San Antonio Spurs, and if you don't know, the 2K Sim Spurs are pretty unstoppable. And now, before we start simulating the playoffs, let's go ahead and take a look at the player stats for the regular season. So our leading scorer was none other than Deni Avdija, averaging 27, 8, and 8. 21 from Damian Lillard, 19 from Conppel, 15 from Scoot, 12 from Watson, and a few more players in double-digit scoring. We had a lot of players here in double-digit scoring on our team. And now in the first round of the playoffs, we are taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, and they have themselves DeJounte Murray, Quentin Grimes, Saddiq Bey, Zion Williamson, and Domantas Sabonis with Trey Murphy as their 6-man. They do also have Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queens, and Yves Missi, so they are a pretty stacked team. Every player on their team is an 80 overall or higher, just like our team. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 will go to us. Avdija leading the way here with 38 points, 17 from Lillard, and 16 from Con. Game number 2, we also go on to win. Avdija with 36, 11, and 8. 31 from Con, 19 from Lillard, and 16 from Drew Holiday. We do go on to lose game 3 here, 116 to 113. Conppel was the leading scorer, but sadly we do fall short. Deni Avdija had 16 points in 37 minutes, and it looks like the New Orleans Pelicans also going to win game 4. They defeat us here by 1 single point, and now the series is tied at 2-2 apiece. Deni Avdija had 27, 5, and 12, but sadly we do fall short. We go on to win game 5. Let's go 132 to 103. Lillard leading the way here with 30, 27, and 11 from Avdija. Can we go on to defeat them here in game 6? And yes, we can, thank God. Okay, I did not want a play-in team to defeat us here in the first round. That would suck, but thankfully we do go on to win, and almost every single player on our team had double-digit scoring. And now we have made it to the second round of the playoffs, where we are taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They still have themselves Dante DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Naz Reid, as well as Rudy Gobert as their sixth man. Let's see how things go here in the second round. Game number 1 does end up going to the Timberwolves. They defeat us here by 4 points. Lillard 22, Avdija with 21 and 11. Can we at least go on to win game 2 to top this series? And no, we cannot. It looks like the Timberwolves do go up 2-0, defeating us here in game 2, 122-105. Avdija 21 and 10. Lillard with 18, 17 from Watson. Game number 3, we do thankfully win. Scoot Henderson led the way here with 26, 23 from Lillard, a 20-point double-double from Avdija. Game number 4 does end up going to the Timberwolves, and now we're down 3-1. Con had 26, 24 from Lillard, and 23 from Avdija, but this series might be over. And thankfully it's not. We do go on to win game 5, 122-106. Conppel keeping us alive here with 23 points, Avdija 23, and Lillard with 22. So now let's go ahead and jump into Simcast and see if we could tie up this series. The Timberwolves do have home court advantage, but we have the lead here by quite a bit, and it looks like we will be pushing it to a game 7. Lillard dropping 29, 26, 14, and 9 from Deni Avdija. We are now in a winner-go-home situation. It's time for Game 7 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Can we get this win? We do have home court advantage on our side. Let's see what happens. And so far we do have the lead. It looks like we will be winning 142-127. Avdija leading the way here with 35 points, 22 from Lillard, and 22 from Conppel. Let's go. And now we have made it to the Western Conference Finals. We're either going to have to take on the 1-seeded San Antonio Spurs or the Dallas Mavericks. Both teams are really good in 2K Sim. Let's see which one it will be. And of course, it's the 1-seeded San Antonio Spurs. They have themselves the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year Victor Wembanyama, as well as De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Vassell, Kuminga, and Dylan Harper off of their bench unit. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 does end up going to us. Okay, so we win here 123-117. Avdija 33, 24 from Con. Game number 2 will go to the Spurs. Wemby dropping 27 points. Avdija played amazing, but sadly our defense was not there. We do end up losing by 1 single point. We do go on to win game 3, 119-108. 25 from Con, 20-point double-double from Deni Avdija. And I did forget to mention, in the Eastern Conference Finals, we have the Detroit Pistons taking on the New York Knicks. Can we go up 3-1 here against the Spurs? And no, we cannot. They do end up tying up the series, defeating us here 115-97. Deni Avdija played good, but sadly our team offense was not there. We only scored 95 points. We do go on to win game 5, putting us up 3-2. Okay, so this is huge. We win game 5, 131-128. Deni with 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, 25 from Lillard. Let's see if we can close things out here in game 6, and yes we do. So it looks like we're going to the NBA Finals. We're either going to take on the Detroit Pistons or the New York Knicks, and Deni Avdija winning Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 29, 7, and 8. And then in the Eastern Conference, we have Cade Cunningham winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP, averaging 32 and 11. And that means we are taking on the Detroit Pistons here in the NBA Finals, who have themselves Cade Cunningham, Norman Powell, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, and Jalen Duren. And our team making it to the NBA Finals in the first year of this rebuild is pretty impressive. So this Deni Avdija-led Trailblazers has been doing phenomenal so far. Now hopefully we go on to win a championship. Game number 1 does end up going to the Pistons. We lose here 121-113. Deni played amazing, but sadly we allow them to score 121 points. Game number 2 will also go to the Pistons, and they score 141 points. Avdija played amazing once again, but sadly the rest of the team not so good. Thankfully we do go on to win game 3, 141-129. Conppel had 33, Avdija with 33 and 12, and 22 from Lillard. And now hopefully we're able to tie up the series here in game number 4, and sadly the Pistons go up 3-1 against our team, defeating us here in game 4, 118-111. Lillard played amazing with 34, but sadly we do fall short by 7 points. And is this all going to be over here in game 5? And yes, it is. Sadly the Detroit Pistons go on to win the championship, with Cade Cunningham winning Finals MVP. And clearly our team is still a few steps away from winning a championship, but don't you worry, because this offseason I'm going to make some more trades, hopefully build those steps and go to win a championship next year. But before that, let's take a look at the player stats for the playoffs. We played a total of 24 games, and in those 24 games, the leading scorer was Deni Avdija, averaging 27, 8, and 7. 21 from Lillard, 19 from Conn, 12 from Holiday, 11 from Watson, and 11 from Scoot Henderson. For team player options, of course, we are going to pick up the team option on Conppel, Donovan Clingan. We will also pick it up for Yang Hansen. I don't know if he's going to progress or not this offseason, and the same for Braden Burries. Looks like Damian Lillard will be accepting his player option, $14 million, and honestly, that's a really good deal for Lillard. This past season, averaging 21 points per game, and we're only going to be paying him about $14 million. So let's go ahead and accept these team player options. Qualifying offers, we do need to re-sign Scoot Henderson this offseason, which will definitely be our priority. So this whole time I thought Damian Lillard picked up his player option, but it looks like he did not, and he wants about $33 million in free agency. And I had no idea we were going to have this much money in free agency, but we could sign ourselves a player like Donovan Mitchell, and I think that's exactly what we're going to try and do. I'm going to offer Donovan Mitchell a 4-year contract with a player option on the 4th year, where we pay him about $51 million annually. It looks like he is most interested in our offer, and we get ourselves Donovan Mitchell on a 4-year deal, paying him $161 million throughout the next 3 seasons. I know you guys are probably wondering why I didn't try to sign Victor Wembanyama. It's pretty simple. He's a restricted free agent, and the Spurs would have matched whatever offer we gave him, and for Giannis and Jokic, we did not have enough money for. So for now, we are going to sign Donovan Mitchell, and I believe this is going to make us championship contenders. And no, we are not finished with that Donovan Mitchell signing. We're also going to try and bring in Evan Mobley to add to our front court. This past season, our team's defense was struggling, especially in the playoffs, so having a player like Mobley in the front court will definitely help our team's defense a ton. I'm going to offer the Cleveland Cavaliers Toumani Camara, Miles Bridges, and Jrue Holiday for Evan Mobley and Tyrese Proctor. As of right now, they do decline, but I will start throwing in some first-round picks. 1 first-round pick does not get it done, but 2 first-round picks gets it done, and we land ourselves Evan Mobley. We still do have enough money for a player like Donte DiVincenzo, a two-way player that could come off the bench unit as a backup point guard, so I'm going to go ahead and sign him on a 2-year contract where we pay him about $5 million annually, and it looks like he will be accepting on a 2-year $10 million contract. And after signing Donte DiVincenzo, I did not realize we also have enough money to sign Miles McBride. He's a good 3-point shooter, good perimeter defender, could come off the bench unit and help us defensively and offensively, so I'm going to go ahead and sign him and Fred VanVleet. Here we are at the start of this season with a new rotation, and in our starting lineup we're going to be running with Donovan Mitchell at the point guard position, Conppel, Deni Avdija, Evan Mobley, and Donovan Clingan. And then off the bench, we have Peyton Watson, Miles McBride, Robert Williams III, and Donte DiVincenzo. I believe this season we have the perfect mix of offense and defense, a lot of good two-way players, so hopefully that helps us win a lot more games, especially in the playoffs. Let's simulate the first few games of this season to see how we do. The first game is a win up against the Miami Heat, 125 to 123. Donovan Mitchell in his Blazers debut dropping 30 points, 29 from Avdija, and 22 from Conppel. Let's see if we could defeat the Miami Heat once again and also defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves. We do lose to both teams, but that's alright. I mean, chemistry still needs to be built. We have ourselves a completely new lineup, so that may take some time to get used to, but we are rolling with a 4.5-star overall system proficiency balanced under Frank Vogel. That is amazing. And now I'm going to start simulating here until the end of this season, but if there are any trades to be made, I'll stop at the trade deadline to show you all. We are stopped here at the trade deadline, and currently our team needs a new backup point guard that's a good playmaker, because right now we're not really a good playmaking team. And Nikola Topic is a good playmaker. Per 36 minutes he averages about 7 assists per game with only 2 turnovers, plus he can score the ball when we need him to. So I'm going to pull off this trade with the Thunder, sending them Donte DiVincenzo and Fred VanVleet for Nikola Topic and a 1st-round pick. At the end of this season, Nikola Jokic will go on to win MVP, not with the Denver Nuggets, this time with the Chicago Bulls. Tyrone Stokes, Rookie of the Year, Tyler Hero 6-Man, Wemby Defensive Player, AJ Debonsa Most Improved, Jalen Brunson winning Clutch Player, Billy Donovan Coach of the Year, and the Bulls also win Executive. Let's see if we have any All-NBA selections. We do land Deni Avdija on an All-NBA second team, and it looks like that will be it for All-NBA awards, so no Donovan Mitchell. And we do also get Evan Mobley on an All-Defensive first team. We ended this season as the #1 seed, winning a total of 63 games and losing only 19. And now we need to translate that regular season success into the playoffs, which I believe this time around we can do. Here are the player stats for the regular season. So our leading scorer was Deni Avdija, averaging 28, 7, and 7, 25 from Donovan Mitchell, 19 from Conppel, 18 from Mobley, 11 from Watson, 11 and 10 from Donovan Clingan. And now it is time for the playoffs, and in the first round, we are taking on the Sacramento Kings, who have themselves Darius Akup, Kyrie Irving, Moses Moody, Dylan, and Kyle Filipowski. They were the #10 seed, so let's see how things go here. Game #1, we do end up winning. Mitchell leading the way with 28, Avdija with 23, and Mobley with 22. And game #2 will also go to us. This time it's Avdija leading the way with 28, Mitchell 22, and Mobley with 20. We also going to win game 3, and yes, we can. Deni Avdija leading the way here with 31, 16, and 7. Donovan Mitchell with 23 and 15 from Conppel. And are we going to sweep the Sacramento Kings? Yes, we are going to. And Deni Avdija dropped 29 points, 24 from Mitchell, and 22 from Mobley. And just like that, we have made it to the second round of the playoffs. So far, Donovan Mitchell is averaging 24 points per game. Con is averaging only 10 points per game, 28 from Avdija, 19 from Mobley, 8 from Donovan Clingan. And now in the second round of the playoffs, we are taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have themselves Trey Mann, Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. And if I'm not mistaken, we defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, so hopefully we are able to do the same. Game #1 does end up going to the Timberwolves. Game #2 will go to us. Game 3 does end up going to the Timberwolves. And now I'm going to come up with a defensive coach game plan. Defensive coach game plan has been set. So let's jump into Simcast here and see if we could tie up this series. The Timberwolves do have home court advantage, and we are blowing them out. We score 133 points and hold them to 78. Conppel 27, 23 from Avdija, and 22 from Mobley. And now the series is tied at 2-2 apiece. Let's see if we could go up 3-2. We do have home court advantage, and so far we do have the lead. It looks like we will be winning another blowout win, 149-110. So clearly the defensive coach game plan has been working. Avdija with 35, 9, and 10, 29 from Mobley. And now we got to win one more game. The Timberwolves will have home court advantage, but so far we have the lead. It looks like we will be winning 111-95. Avdija with 24 and 10, Mobley with 20 and 13, and of course, we are back in the Western Conference Finals taking on the San Antonio Spurs. They basically have themselves the same lineup. Well, not really. They did make 2 adjustments to their lineup. They do have Dylan Harper, Stephon Kessel, Devin Vassell, Aldama, and Victor Wembanyama, with an 88 De'Aaron Fox overall coming off of their bench unit. Let's see what happens here. Game #1 will end up going to the Spurs. They defeat us here 109-92. Game #2, we going to win. Mitchell with 41, 22, and 15 from Avdija. Game #3, we end up winning. Mitchell with 29, 22 from Avdija, and 21 from Watson. Can we go up 3-1? And yes, we can. Avdija dropping 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists, 27 from Mobley, who's been balling out here in the playoffs. And now let's see if we could gentlemen sweep the San Antonio Spurs. We will have home court advantage, and we are blowing them out so far, and it looks like we will be winning 142-116. Deni Avdija with 47 points and 15 rebounds, 29 from Mitchell and 21 from Watson. So in the NBA Finals, we're either going to have to take on the Chicago Bulls, or we're going to have a rematch with the Detroit Pistons, the same team that defeated us last year. It looks like it will be a rematch with the Pistons. Deni Avdija winning Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 27, 10, and 7. Cade Cunningham Eastern Conference Finals MVP, averaging 35 and 11. And that means it is a rematch of the last year's NBA Finals. We are taking on the Detroit Pistons. They have themselves Cade Cunningham, Drew Holiday, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, and Jalen Duren. Not sure how they ended up with Drew Holiday. Did we trade Holiday here? No, we didn't. We sent him to Cleveland, but it looks like the Cavs traded him to the Pistons. Let's see how things go here. Game #1, we do end up winning. Mitchell leading the way with 43, 23, and 11 from Avdija. We also going to win game 2, and yes, we can. Mitchell with 32, 19 from Conn, 19-point double-double from Avdia. Game number 3, we also going to win now, putting us up 3-0, 117-93. Mitchell leading the way here with 24 points, 21 points from McBride in 17 minutes. All we gotta do is win one more game, and then we'll have swept the Detroit Pistons and won ourselves a championship, and we go on to sweep the Detroit Pistons, win the Portland Trailblazers a championship with Deni Avdija winning Finals MVP. And that is absolutely amazing. The same team that was giving us trouble last year in the NBA Finals, who gentlemen swept us in Game 5, we go on to sweep in Game 4. And that's the perfect way to end up this video, but I would like to show you guys the player stats for the playoffs before I do. So we played a total of 19 games here in the playoffs, and in those 19 games, the leading scorer was Deni Avdija and Donovan Mitchell, both tied for 25.6 points per game. 17 from Mobley, 15 from Conn, and 14 from Watson. And then in the NBA Finals, we played a total of 4 games, and in those 4 games, the leading scorer was Donovan Mitchell, averaging 31 points per game, 22, 9, and 8 from Deni Avdija, 15 from Conppel, 14 from McBride, and 14 from Evan Mobley. Now that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 videos. Click here on the screen to watch my latest upload, and until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.